Welcome to another What Will I Be Watching video. So, of course, Winter Anime 2026 season is coming up in about a week or two's time. So, about 2 weeks, I should say. And there's a lot happening in this season. And in the previous season, I kind of made a video going over what I'm interested in the upcoming season, what caught my eye, because I did watch every single trailer and synopsis, apart from a few, which I'm going to talk about in a second. And I've decided based on those which I'm going to watch on the channel, because obviously every season I add a few seasonal shows to my schedule. So I just want to talk about them. I want to give my thoughts on everything that I've seen, and I want to give my thoughts on the things that look interesting to me. Now, first of all, there's a lot of shows this season, so it's probably going to be a bit brief on every single show. I'm not going to spend too much time on every single one of them. First, I want to go through the sequels that I'll be watching, and once again, I'm not going to spend a lot of time with these because they are just sequels. So, Jujutsu Kaisen Season 3, of course, I'm going to be watching that on the channel. I watched the first 2 seasons and the movie on the channel as well. I love them, so I'm going to be watching Season 3 as well. It looks like it's going to be more Jujutsu Kaisen goodness, nothing much more to say there. The next one is going to be Soso no Frieren, or Frieren the Slayer. Of course, Frieren at the Graveyard. Frieren the Slayer was an episode. Frieren at the Graveyard, I think the English title is. But Frieren Season 2. So once again, watch Season 1 on the channel, absolutely loved it, and watching Season 2 as well. It looks like Evan Cole is back for the soundtrack, which I'm excited for. The gang is gonna be back, so I am excited. The big difference with this one is, I wanna talk about this a tiny bit, is there's a different director for this, right? Because it was Keiichiro Saito previously, but now he's kind of like taken a bit of a side role as a director assistant, and now Tomoya Kitagawa is going to be the director, which I'm not sure about what he's done. He hasn't, or I should say, he hasn't done much, right? I think this is his directorial debut, so I'm excited for it. He has worked as, I think, an assistant director on Season 1 for a few episodes, not even for the entire season. Okay, yeah. So I'm excited for it. I'm sure it's going to be fantastic, even with the new director. So yeah. The next, I guess, sequel that I'm going to be watching, of course, is going to be Oshi No Ko Season 3. I watched the first... Actually, I watched only the second season on the channel. The first season I watched before even starting my channel. So, I watched the second season on my channel. Absolutely love this show. So, I am excited for Season 3. Once again, not much else to say about it. It seems like the crew is returning. Like, it's going to be still Doga Kobo. It's going to be still Daisuke Hiramaki, who is, I believe, the same director as the previous ones. So, I'm excited for it. Not much else to say about this. Of course, I'm going to be watching it. Then we go on to Medalist. Medalist Season 2 is what I'm definitely going to be watching as well. What's Season 1 on the channel? If you don't know what Medalist is, it is basically a figure skating anime. And it is an absolutely fantastic coming-of-age story of a character, of a kind of like a kid character who is going through both kid issues and also issues that would still be very much a problem for any adult, and you can see a very realistic portrayal of how someone at Iori's age, who I believe she's like, what, 11, 12, somewhere around there, someone her age is going through all kinds of different issues that mean the world to them, and sometimes those issues can seem very meaningless to a lot of people who are going through, you know, real life adult issues, but some of the issues that Inori goes through are very real issues. The main reason why I loved Season 1, or why I even decided to watch Season 1 in the first place, is because Juki Hanada was the series composer of it, and he is returning as the series composer of it. And Juki Hanada is the absolute GOAT. He is the series composer for stuff like Steins Gate, most of the Love Live series, Place Further in the Universe, Girls Band Cry, among many other shows that he's done. So he is kind of like the GOAT. I love Juki Hanada. It is still by Studio Ingi, the same studio as who did Season 1, and Season 1 I think looked fantastic. Even the CG looked really good, especially the CG of Hikaru. That CG was fantastic. All of the mocapping was fantastic, so I'm excited for it. I think Season 2 is gonna be just as good, I'm sure of it. Now, the next sequel that we have is Mato Seihei no Slave, or I believe Chain Soldier is the English title of it. Chained Soldier. Now, I watched season 1 of this on the channel as well. It was the early days of my channel, and I liked it. I thought it was really, really fun. It is by the same mangaka who did Akamega Kill. That is the main draw of it. It is basically a bunch of... It's kind of like an underworld being in, I guess, under our world. And if I remember, I'm trying to remember the exact plot because it's been a while. But basically, there's like a female force that's trying to eradicate all the monsters so that they can't get into our world or whatever. And there's this main character who becomes kind of like he's kind of like a weapon. He can transform into like a monster himself. And like one of the generals, female generals, kind of keeps him as like a servant, you know, a slave, if you will. But it's voluntary, you know, it's voluntary. He's a weapon more so than anything else, right? So yeah, it's an ecchi show, but I do like it. Now, the main reason that I'm super excited about it is because Studio Passion is picking up season 2. Previously, I think it's been, I'm not sure, wait, which studio was it previously? 7 Arcs. And the biggest complaint, I guess, about the series in season 1 was a lot of the CG and the animation in general looked very janky. And I think Studio Passion are gonna do a fantastic job with this. If you don't know who Studio Passion are, they did stuff like Ishizoku Reviewers, they did stuff like Mieruko-chan, the new Spice and Wolf remake, a bunch of really, really well animated stuff. Like a lot of their stuff are ecchi and stuff like that, but they're all also very well animated. So Studio Passion are doing it, and I am excited for it, definitely watching it on the channel. Next up, this is a bit of a different sequel, because this is gonna be WataNare. Watashi ga koibito ni nareru wake nai-jan, muri janakata. So this is, of course, the WataNare sequel. It is a sequel of only 5 episodes of WataNare. So yeah, it's not a full-on sequel. It's 5 new episodes of WataNare that are going to be releasing on the 1st, I believe, the 1st of January. Or I think the first episode is going to be releasing on the 1st, and then it's going to be 1 episode a week, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't think there's much else to say about this. I watched it obviously on the channel as well. I am curious to see what they're going to do with this, and it's an interesting way that they decided to release this, but I guess we'll see how it's going to go down. I'm excited for it. As I said, I'm going to be watching it, 5 episodes in this season. And then there's a really strange one, which I'm not even sure if this would count as a... Like, it is a continuation, it is a sequel, but I don't know if it will count even as a winter anime, because it's releasing in March, and this is gonna be Steel Ball Run, JoJo Part 7 Steel Ball Run. Now, I'm caught up with JoJo when it comes to the anime. I have not read the manga, so I don't know. I've never watched JoJo on the channel, by the way. JoJo was something that I watched previously before the channel even started. I love JoJo, absolutely love it. Part 5 and Part 6 are my two favorite parts, and people keep, you know, people keep hyping up Part 7. So I am super excited for this. There's been an announcement of episode 1 releasing on March the 19th, which is like 3 months from now. But I don't know anything else. I don't think there's been much else about the series. I don't know if that's when the entire series is gonna even start. Maybe that's gonna be just the first kind of like appetizer of an episode, and then they're gonna wait a bit and then drop it. I don't know. I pray to God that Netflix is not gonna do the Netflix thing where they release it like in batches of like 12 episodes, and they just dropped 12 episodes at a time. That's a horrible release order. I think the hype for the entire show just dies, as we've seen with Part 6. Part 6, there was no hype over it because it was releasing it such a horrible way. Such a horrible way. So I just hope that this gets a weekly release schedule for it. That would be best case scenario. I really, really hope they make it that way, and I am excited for it. I don't know anything about JoJo Part 7. I've not looked at the trailers, I've not read the synopsis because I don't want to get spoiled. And that is one thing that I was gonna say earlier when I said I watched almost every trailer. I did not watch the trailers of shows that I knew I was gonna watch, because I want to go into it as blind as possible. So for shows that I absolutely knew that I was gonna watch before even reading anything up on them, I did not watch the trailers or read the synopsis. That being all of the sequels here, and also, well, JoJo here. So that also applies to one more anime here, that exact thing that I said. Actually, it's not just one, it's a few anime, but this next one it definitely applies to, and this is, of course, Fate Strange Fake. Now, if you know not anything about me or my channel, especially in the past like half a year or so, I have gotten deep into the Fate rabbit hole. I've watched, basically at this point, I've watched almost everything that's out when it comes to Fate media, right? I watched Fate Zero, Fate Stay Night, UBW. I watched Heaven's Feel. I watched Apocrypha, Grand Order, Prisma, and then we watched Case Files. We watched Garden of Sinners, which is Nasuverse. We are watching Carnival Phantasm. Am I missing anything? I have not seen the Dean anime or Last Encore, but yeah, the other things here I have seen. So, and I'm also playing through FGO, the game right now. So I am very excited for Fate Strange Fake. Of course, I'm going to be watching this weekly. It supposedly says it's going to be airing weekly. Now, there have been, like, the release schedule for Fate Strange Fake, as far as I know, has been like 1 episode a year. And I think they've released like the first 2 episodes already. And then there's episode 0, which I'm going to be watching this week as well. But at the end of the trailer of one of the Fate Strange Fake trailers, people have informed me that it says it is airing weekly, right? That's what it says. At the end of the trailer, it says airing weekly on and whatever, right? So as far as I know, this is going to be finally airing weekly, and I am going to be watching this for sure. This is something that I'm so hyped about. I have not read anything about this. I have not checked out any of the trailers for this because I have no idea which servants show up in this, and I do not want to have any idea which servants show up in this because I want to go into this completely blind and be surprised by it. It's been a while since I went into a Fate series like this completely blind, so I'm excited for it. If you don't know, it is also written by what's the name? Ryogo Narita. Ryogo Narita is the writer of this light novel series because it is a light novel adaptation, and Ryogo Narita is the person who wrote Durara, who wrote Bacano, who wrote Death Mount Death Play, I think it's called. So someone who is an incredible writer. I think everyone who's seen any of those shows will probably know he's an incredible writer. So I'm so excited for this. Also, like, from what I've seen on the staff, like, Hiroki Sawano is working on the soundtrack for this, and it's being animated by A1 Pictures. And yeah, it's the director that's been directing like a bunch of like Fate stuff as well. I think it's the same director, or I think it's a double director of, there's 2 directors. The same director who did Learning with Manga for FGO, if you know that one. So some peak stuff right there, and I'm excited for it. So this is gonna be one that I'm 100% gonna be watching. Episode 1 airing on January the 3rd, so next week, which is hype. Now we go on to shows that I know nothing about. Completely new seasonal shows that I'm interested in this season. Now, this one here that I'm going to talk about in a second is one that's kind of like at the bottom of my list. I'm very much not sure about it, but people have recommended to me. So I've seen people being like, hey, you should check this one out. And that is because it's a Yuri show, a girls' love show. It's called Omae Gotoki ga Mao ni kateru to omona to Yusha Party wa Tsuiho sareta no de Oto de Kimama ni kurashitai. Holy, that's a long title. I think the English title for this is Roll Over and Die. Very simple. So it is basically a girls love fantasy anime. I don't think it's an isekai, but it's an isekai-esque fantasy anime where there's a girl who is in like a party where she kind of gets like treated like shit, and then she decides to kind of like break free from that and takes up like a cursed weapon, which by taking up that cursed weapon, I think she kind of like, I think that weapon kind of like slowly kills her, but she's like, you know what, I'm gonna take it if it means that I can get power to get out of this situation. It seems kind of cool. I also I'm always like happy to see more Yuri stuff being done, like more girls love stuff being done in anime. It's always fun, but it is very much at the bottom of my list so far. It also has some fun voice acting roles here, like it's Miku Ito and Machiko who voice in it, which are fantastic VAs. It's by Studio ACGT, which I don't really know anything about them. I don't know anything that they've done. I'm looking at it right now and I don't know anything that they've done. So they have done a few things, but nothing that I know of. So yeah, this is at the bottom of my list, but maybe Then the next one, also not sure if I'm gonna watch this or not, but it looks kind of interesting, is Darwin Jihen, the Darwin Incident? The Darwin Incident, yeah. It is basically a sci-fi anime about a human ape or chimpanzee hybrid, and it's basically about him trying to fit in into actual human society, right? It's a kind of like a kid, a human and chimpanzee kid who they send, I think, to like school and stuff like that, and it's about him trying to fit in with everyone else. And I think if I saw it correctly, it's obviously like there's sci-fi aspects of it. Also, there's like an aspect of like him trying to, like, people trying to kidnap him because they, I don't know, they're like nature activists or whatever. But I think mostly from what I've seen, it's kind of like about being accepted who you are, kind of like a coming of age story, being accepted for who you are, and also you know, accepting your differences, and also people seeing you as different, and like how that is, what that means, and also people, you know, being interested in you. I think it's kind of like mostly about that, which is really interesting. So I'm excited for it. I'm also happy that it's a sci-fi anime that isn't about robots, right? It's about bioengineering as opposed to robots, which I really, really appreciate, because I feel like a robot and like AI anime, or like AI in anime, has been getting, like in anime stories, has been getting so overdone, that I'm just happy to see this kind of take on a sci-fi, you know, story in anime. So maybe I want to watch it. It is by Studio Bellnox, which it's their first anime from what I see, which makes me excited. You know, that does make me excited. So I don't know, it looks kind of cool, it looks kind of fun, but I'm not certain on it, so we'll see. Okay, the next one, oh, this one, I'm not sure. So it is Ikoku Nikki. Now the English title is Journal with Witch, I guess so. So from the looks of things, it is a anime about an aunt who gets custody of her niece, because the mother, or I guess the aunt's sister, so the niece's mother, passed away, and she gets her custody. I think it's like she's like 15 or whatever, and it's, from what I've seen, it looks like it is a story about dealing with grief, and them, even though they are completely different and they don't really get along, they kind of like have to deal with grief and try to, you know, they're both going through a similar thing, so that's the one, like one of their connecting bonds there that they can lean on. And I think that is what this is about. It's about two different people going through a similar situation and trying to seek refuge in that company that they give each other. So it looks really, really good. It looks really fun, and I'm very interested in it. I'm still not 100% sure if I am going to watch it or not, but it does look really, really good. I also like that Miyuki Sawashiro is voicing the main character. That's always fun. I love Miyuki Sawashiro. She's a fantastic VA. Apart from that, it is by Studio Shuka, which I don't know them, so I don't know what that's gonna mean. I watched the trailer and I preferred the actual synopsis over the trailer. The trailer didn't really sell me the vibes of it, but the synopsis really, really sold me on the show, so I'm really interested in watching it. So there's a high chance that I will watch it, or at least I'll keep an eye on it and maybe pick it up if it does, like after the first few episodes come out. So I'm very excited for it, and to see if this is gonna end up being good. Okay, next one. This is Shibayugi de Meshioku, or I think the English title is Shibayugi playing death games to put food on the table. And I think this is about basically a person, like a death game. There's a death game going on, and then there's this, everyone's like really afraid of it. Everyone's like, what's going on? Why are we here? And then there's this one girl who just shows up there, and she's like, yeah, this is like my 50th death game. I've been doing this for money, so I've just been going through this and collecting money rewards from the death games. So she's kind of like a pro at it, and I think it's just about that. Like, it's taunted as an action drama mystery, and I don't know, I think it's kind of like just a death game anime with a twist of one of them being kind of like a pro at it. I don't know if it's gonna be fun. It looks kind of like fun and stuff like that. It doesn't look like it takes itself too seriously. It looks pretty fun. It looks like it can be some cool action, some fun stuff. Inori Minase voices in it, so that's also very, very cool. I'm always excited for that. The it's Studio Dean, which can be a hit or miss. Sometimes Studio Dean can do some cool stuff, sometimes they can miss, but I feel like it looks cool. The visuals of the show look pretty from what I've seen. The art style is really cool, so I'm excited for it. I had pretty high up my list of wanting to watch it, but not anything that's been decided yet, so I'm excited for it. But yeah, it's also only 11 episodes. Interesting. Anyways, yeah, that's this one. The next one, now this is one that I don't think it's meant for me as the intended audience, but it did kind of, like, the popularity of this show kind of brought it to my attention, and this is Oshi No Ko S3, or In the Clear Moonlit Dusk. Now, this is an anime about a girl who is kind of like a tomboyish, like she has a tomboyish look, right? And she has kind of like this nickname of Prince and stuff. And then there's this like really hot guy who shows up, and he falls in love with her, right? And he's like, yo, come out, go out with me, and like he falls in love with her and stuff like that. He's flirting with her, and then one day he realizes, wait, you're not a guy, you're a girl. What? So all this time that he's been flirting with her, he thought that she was actually a guy, and I think it's about their relationship. Now, it does seem very shoujo-esque, very shoujo-esque. So I don't know if I'm like, I feel like this is one of those shows where you need to really be into the guy who's like really like this hot guy, or like abs and stuff like that. It feels like one of those shows where you really need to be into that. Maybe not, maybe I'm wrong. I'm only purely speaking from the trailer that I saw. It definitely looks like the guy is the main draw of the show, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong. So I'm not sure if I'm gonna watch it, but it does seem like it is pretty hyped up from the community and stuff. It does seem like it's pretty high on the popularity list, so maybe it is actually really good. Maybe the story is actually really good. I'm not sure, but it is on my radar as well. And then we have two anime originals that are airing this upcoming season, which are the things that I'm always extremely excited about. And the first one is Cho Kaguya Hime, or the English title being Cosmic Princess Kaguya. And this is one that I did not check out the synopsis for, I did not check out the trailers for, because I am 100% watching this. It's only one episode? Oh, it's a movie. Wait, what? It's a 2.5-hour episode? Okay, wait, I did not know that. I just saw it at the corner of my eye. I just saw that. What? Well, I'm definitely watching this. It looks fantastic, and as far as I can tell, it's kind of like a different take or a retelling of the tale of Princess Kaguya, you know, which is a big tale in Japan, obviously, right? About Kaguya going to the moon, leaving behind the one she loved, like those things. And I think it's a modern retelling of the Princess Kaguya tale, with also a lot of music. I think it's a music anime, and from what I've seen, there's some big names working on this when it comes to the music department. There's Ryo from Supercell, who I absolutely love. There's also Honeyworks working on this, and a lot of other names that I'm not familiar with, but I'm sure a lot of people might like 40MP, Aquera, KZ, you got so big stuff, right? And then the studio working on this is Studio Colorido, which I don't really know anything about. They did Burn the Witch, which I haven't seen. They also worked on Star Wars Visions, and then there's also Studio Chromato, which is a new one, working purely on this. And the voice acting is Rie Kugimiya's voicing in this, Saori Hayami is voicing on this, so big names. I'm excited for it. This is the maybe even the anime that I'm excited for, at least the new anime that I'm excited for the most. And it is an anime original. One episode, basically movie, which I didn't even know about. So I am so excited for this one. But then the last show for this season that I do have on my list is Prism Rondo. Once again, an anime original, a Netflix original, I believe it is, yeah. And it is by Wit Studio. Now, Prism Rondo is basically about a girl, an artist, who goes to London, right, to study art, and I believe, and she meets a guy there, and I think it's kind of like a coming-of-age story of romance And it's also happening in around the beginning of 1900s. So it is happening during like World War I era, like that kind of time, and in the UK. So it's basically about this girl meeting a guy in a new city that she doesn't know anything about, and growing up there, or I guess spending her years there, spending her time there. And it looks really, really pretty, really, really good. The mangaka, or not the mangaka because this is an anime original, but the original creator of this is the mangaka of the show Boys Over Flowers, which is one of the most iconic shoujo manga of its era, of the 90s, I believe. It's when it was released. I've never seen the anime nor read the manga of it, but I do know about it because it is very, very influential and very, very iconic. So I'm excited for it. There's some big names attached to this. Once again, it's Koki Uchiyama who's voicing in this, Yuki Kaji, Akari Kito, Megumi Han, huge names voicing in this. It is by, as I said, Studio Wit, and the director is Kazuto Nakazawa, who I'm not sure what they've done. The director for Noblesse. Apart from that, I don't really see Atarashi Sekai, which I haven't seen either. Yeah, I haven't seen. They've worked on a lot of stuff, but I haven't seen any of it. So yeah, I'm just really excited for this one, and it is an ONA of 20 episodes from what I can see. So yeah, really, really exciting stuff. I think this is also, once again, a very exciting project here, which I am hoping it's gonna be good, and I am pretty sure that I'm going to be watching no matter what. So yeah, that is currently my list of things that I want to watch, that I might watch. Not all of them are confirmed that I'm going to be watching them. So a lot of them are going to be on my, just kind of like check them, or like just observe them and see what's going to happen, and don't commit to it yet. But maybe I will. Maybe I'll watch them, maybe I won't. I guess we'll see. Let me know what shows you guys are excited for, what shows you're going to be watching. If you know anything about like the shows that I've talked about, maybe some more information that I might find interesting, obviously without spoiling anything, then leave it down in the comments. I am going to read through that so that I know if like one of the shows that I'm talking about here is a hidden gem, or maybe there's some other show in this season that's coming out that's a hidden gem in your guys' opinions. So let me know. But that's gonna be all. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.